All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're taking the absolute best insights from elite athletes and high achievers, and we're synthesizing them to help you push past your own limits. Whether you're gunning for a massive physical transformation, maybe a huge career breakthrough, or honestly, just trying to navigate everyday life with a bit more grit, we're gonna extract the exact frameworks used by the best in the world. We've pulled together wisdom from legendary sports icons, elite military operators, and top-tier performance psychologists to build you a comprehensive blueprint for success.
We have to start by asking the ultimate question about overcoming adversity and reaching excellence. What does it actually take to defy the odds? Because let's be real for a second, most ambitious goals seem completely impossible when you're just standing there at the starting line. It's so easy to look at champions and think, well, they were just born with some magic gene that we don't have. But as we're about to see, true excellence is rarely an accident at birth. It's actually a meticulously constructed habit. This exact mindset is perfectly captured by legendary boxer Muhammad Ali. He famously said he hated every minute of training, but told himself, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. He didn't love the pain or the exhaustion, he literally hated it, but he understood the fundamental transaction of greatness. You're trading temporary discomfort today for a lifetime of pride tomorrow. Keep that transaction in the back of your mind as we get into our first core concept. Part 1. Forging a calloused mind. To build our psychological foundation, we're turning to the incredible life of former Navy SEAL David Goggins. If you aren't familiar with Goggins' story, it is absolutely staggering. He went from being a 300-pound exterminator, struggling with learning disabilities and a deeply traumatic past, to becoming a Navy SEAL, a top ultramarathon runner, and a Guinness World Record holder. He teaches us that whatever obstacle is standing in front of you right now, tragedy, poverty, prejudice, or even profound failure, can actually become the essential fuel for your metamorphosis. Instead of letting a brutal childhood define him as a victim, he used those exact experiences as combustible energy. He calls it entering the inner battle. You don't run from the dark stuff. You use it to light the fire. A really fascinating part of his transformation is a tool he calls the accountability mirror. It's designed to stop you from blaming everyone else so you can finally own your path. Goggins would literally stand in front of his bathroom mirror, look himself right in the eye, and have a brutal, completely unfiltered conversation about his weight, his lack of direction, and his excuses. The accountability mirror strips away all those little lies we tell ourselves just to feel better. Because the truth is, you can't fix a problem until you have the sheer courage to acknowledge it's actually there. Which brings us to a real game changer, Goggins' 40% rule. This principle basically proves that our physical boundaries are largely just self-imposed mental illusions. When you're out there running, working, or striving, and your brain is just screaming at you to stop because you're entirely depleted, well, you're actually only at about 40% of your maximal capacity. See, your brain's main job is survival, so it hits the panic button way too early. Pushing past that initial wave of fake exhaustion, that is where the true growth happens. Goggins says that if you accept the pain, endure it, and callous your mind, you'll reach a point where not even pain can hurt you. By enduring these intense struggles and filling your mental cookie jar with past victories, you build a calloused mind that can withstand pretty much anything life throws at you. It's exactly like how the skin on your hands gets tough and calloused when you lift heavy weights. Your brain gets calloused when you intentionally expose it to friction and hardship. It's a massive paradigm shift. Pain isn't a signal to stop, it's the actual mechanism for your mental upgrade. Part 2. The Goal-Setting Blueprint. Because raw motivation without any direction is completely useless, let's look at the mechanics of achievement using the OSU Life Sports Goal-Setting Framework. So we have a clear contrast here between outcome goals, which are completely outside of your control, and process goals, which are the short-term actionable steps you can execute right now. Think about it. If your only goal is winning the championship, an outcome goal, you're going to face immense anxiety. Why? Because you can't control the weather, the referees, or your opponents. But a process goal, something like mastering a new blocking technique today, well, that is 100% within your power. By structuring goals this way, athletes dramatically improve their motivation, confidence, attention, and focus. It allows them to shift their attention entirely to mastering technique rather than obsessing over wins and losses. When you actually give yourself a say in your own process goals, your motivation naturally spikes. You're basically redefining success from a distant, uncontrollable future event to a highly controllable daily action. Part 3. Winning one play at a time. So, now that we have our goals defined and our minds calloused, how do we actually perform in the heat of the moment?
To figure out how we handle the pressure when the spotlight is on, we can look at sports psychology expert Brian Kane. His peak performance approach is all about slowing the game down, especially when emotions are running incredibly high during a competition. It's such a common trap, right? You make one tiny mistake, your heart rate spikes, you start overthinking, and suddenly the game is moving a million miles an hour. Kane's methodology is all about hitting that reset button. The core idea is to dominate the day by playing the game one play at a time. The crucial point here is breaking massive, overwhelming goals into completely manageable little pieces so you can focus entirely on your present execution. You can't play the fourth quarter in the first quarter. You can only execute the exact play that is happening right in front of you right now. Dominate the day, one single play at a time. This keeps you from getting paralyzed by the sheer size of your ultimate ambition. Part 4. 6 Rules of Success. Now, let's see how all this theory builds into an undeniable action plan, using Arnold Schwarzenegger's celebrated life philosophies. Here are Dr. Schwarzenegger's 6 rules. This is literally the blueprint that took him from a small Austrian village to global stardom, bodybuilding dominance, and eventually the governor's office. Number 1, trust yourself to know who you want to be. Number 2, break the rules, not the law, but conventional expectations. 3, don't be afraid to fail miserably. 4, ignore the naysayers. 5, work your butt off. And 6, give something back to your community.
What's really fascinating here is how Arnold handled rule number 4, ignore the naysayers. When he wanted to be a leading man, Hollywood agents literally laughed at him. They said his body was too monstrous, his name was way too hard to pronounce, and nobody had ever become a star with a thick German accent. But he didn't listen to them. He leaned into his uniqueness, and those exact flaws became his greatest assets and the most iconic part of the Terminator franchise. Arnold's math for success is uncompromisingly simple. You have 24 hours a day. If you sleep 6 hours a night, you have 18 hours left every single day to work your butt off and outwork your competition. He famously joked to an audience once that if they need 8 or 9 hours of sleep, they should just sleep faster. It's a funny way of stating a very serious truth. You absolutely cannot climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. Hard work is the non-negotiable foundation here.
The ultimate trap. Before you set off on your personal hero's journey, we really need to look at the biggest statistical obstacle you are inevitably going to face.
50%. A staggering 50% of people who start an exercise program or any major endeavor drop out within the first 6 months. Half. Just let that sink in for a second. It's exactly why gyms are completely packed in January and totally empty by March. That initial excitement you feel on day 1 is simply not enough to carry you across the finish line. This massive dropout rate happens for one simple reason. External motivation fades. If you don't want it badly enough and lack internal drive, you will abandon your goals. Motivation is just an emotion, and like happiness or sadness, it comes and goes. When it fades, and it will fade, if you don't have David Goggins' accountability mirror, if you don't have those process goals we talked about, and if you aren't playing the game one play at a time, you're probably going to become part of that 50%. Let's bring it all home with this exceptionally powerful quote from Olympic champion Usain Bolt. He said, "Time, effort, sacrifice, and sweat. How will you pay for your goals?" It's a stark reminder that true success is never, ever handed to you for free. It is bought and paid for. The currency isn't money. The currency is your time, your effort, your sacrifice, and your sweat. Every single day you wake up, you have to decide if you are willing to pay the invoice. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. What will your legacy be, and how will you pay for your goals today? How will you step up, execute your process, and pay the ultimate price for your own greatness? You've got the blueprint now. You know how to build the mindset, structure the goals, and outwork the competition. The only question left is, what are you going to do with your 18 hours today?